What will you do when an elephant, loved by everyone and the visitor's favorite, suddenly becomes quiet and sick? Day by day, her health gets worse, leaving everyone worried. Then, a call is made to someone who brings hope and surprises everyone with an unexpected twist that changes everything. The story begins with Elizabeth, a grand and gentle elephant who was the heart of the Wildlife Park. She had always been a star, loved by visitors and cherished by the staff. Her playful nature and majestic presence brought joy to everyone who saw her. But something had changed. Elizabeth wasn't herself anymore. She refused to eat, her steps were slow, and her big, kind eyes seemed filled with sadness. It broke the hearts of those who cared for her. Day by day, Elizabeth grew weaker. The staff, who had watched her grow from a playful calf to a graceful adult, felt helpless. They tried everything to cheer her up, but nothing worked. Her energy was fading, and her once vibrant spirit seemed lost. Desperate to help, the zookeepers turned to the park's manager, hoping for answers. Elizabeth wasn't just an elephant to them, she was family. They couldn't stand to see her suffer. The manager knew this was not an ordinary problem and needed a unique solution. After speaking with experts in the wildlife community, someone suggested reaching out to Asher, a former caretaker with years of experience working with elephants. Asher wasn't just any caretaker, he had a way of understanding animals that felt almost magical. Years ago, he had worked at the park and shared a deep bond with Elizabeth when she was young. Without hesitation, the manager contacted him, hoping Asher could help. 2 days later, Asher arrived at the park. The sight of Elizabeth lying weakly in her enclosure was heartbreaking. She barely moved, her once bright eyes dull and lifeless. Asher couldn't believe this was the same playful elephant he had known. Memories of her as a curious and energetic calf flooded his mind. He knew time was running out. With determination, Asher promised himself he would do everything possible to bring her back. Years ago, Elizabeth arrived at the park as a young orphan, traumatized and alone. Poachers had taken her mother, leaving her defenseless. The small calf was terrified of humans, linking them to pain and loss. At first, the staff couldn't get close to her. She stayed in the corners of her enclosure, avoiding any interaction. Then, Asher came to the park. A young volunteer with a deep love for wildlife, he was determined to make a difference. He admired elephants for their wisdom and strong emotions. When he met Elizabeth, he saw more than just a frightened elephant. He saw an animal in need of care, trust, and patience. Asher knew he could help her heal. Asher's first few weeks with Elizabeth were tough. She turned away whenever he tried to approach, refusing all his efforts to bond. But Asher didn't give up. He spent hours watching her from a distance, studying her habits and actions. He also talked to experts and read books on elephant behavior, hoping to understand her better. Determined to gain Elizabeth's trust, Asher made it his goal to spend time with her every day. He spoke to her softly, telling her about his day and creating a peaceful atmosphere around her. At first, Elizabeth didn't react, but soon she started to perk up when she heard his voice. Gradually, she became more relaxed, and her body language showed she was beginning to trust him. The breakthrough came months later when Elizabeth finally allowed Asher to stay in her enclosure during feeding time. Slowly, she began to approach him, moving cautiously, but with curiosity. Asher stayed patient, letting her decide the pace of their interaction. Over time, she started to look forward to his visits, and even sought his presence. Asher's bond with Elizabeth grew stronger as the years passed. She became his closest companion, trusting him in ways she had never trusted anyone else. Their relationship changed Elizabeth's life. She went from being a shy, scared calf to a joyful, playful elephant who loved interacting with visitors. The once terrified orphan had found a true friend and protector in Asher. Years later, Elizabeth grew older, and Asher's career took off, but their bond never broke. Asher started getting offers from wildlife sanctuaries and organizations that wanted his help. He took on more work, advising on animal behavior and teaching other caretakers how to connect with their animals. Even with his busy schedule, Asher always made time for Elizabeth. No matter how hectic his day, he visited her enclosure to make sure she felt loved and cared for. Elizabeth, too, stayed close to him, showing her affection through playful nudges and gently wrapping her trunk around him. But as time went on, Asher realized he needed to explore new opportunities. After spending decades at the park, he decided it was time to retire from his full-time role and focus on global conservation efforts. It wasn't an easy decision, especially since Elizabeth had always relied on him. To help Elizabeth adjust, Asher began spending less time with her, hoping it would ease the transition. He worked closely with his assistant, sharing everything he knew about Elizabeth's habits and needs. His goal was to make sure she would be well taken care of, even without him. When the day came for Asher to say goodbye, the park held a small ceremony to honor his years of dedication. As Asher walked to Elizabeth's enclosure, he was determined to leave with good memories. However, Elizabeth sensed something was wrong. Her usual playful self was gone, replaced with confusion and sadness. She refused to eat and pulled away, retreating into her own world once again. The staff tried their best to comfort her, but nothing seemed to help. Elizabeth's sadness was just like when she was a young calf. She wouldn't eat and became more withdrawn, showing how deep her bond with Asher really was. Seeing how serious the situation was, Asher decided to postpone his plans and return to the park. As soon as he walked in, Elizabeth's mood lifted. Her eyes brightened, and she seemed calmer just by his presence. Asher went back to his routine of visiting her every day, feeding her, bathing her, and spending time together. Slowly, Elizabeth started to show signs of recovery. The park, recognizing the special bond between Asher and Elizabeth, offered him a new role as manager. This position allowed him to oversee the park's operations while still having time to care for Elizabeth. Feeling grateful, Asher accepted the role, knowing he could continue to be there for his dear friend. Under Asher's care, Elizabeth flourished. She became a symbol of strength and hope, inspiring everyone who met her. Her journey from a scared orphan to a confident elephant showed how trust and kindness could change lives. As time passed, Elizabeth helped other rescued elephants adjust to their new home, guiding them with the same patience she had once received. One of the happiest moments of Elizabeth's life came when she became a mother. She proudly introduced her calf to Asher, sharing the joy with the one person she trusted most. It was a beautiful reminder of the strong bond they had built over the years, a bond that had only grown stronger with time. As Asher looked back on his time with Elizabeth, he felt grateful for everything they had shared. Their connection had shaped his career and deepened his love for wildlife. Elizabeth had healed from her past, and in return, she had given Asher a lifelong friend and a purpose in life. Even as Asher balanced his new roles as manager and consultant, he never stopped being a part of Elizabeth's life. Their bond was a powerful reminder of how deeply humans and animals can connect. Elizabeth's joy became a symbol of hope for everyone who visited the park, showing how love and trust could heal even the deepest scars. Over time, Elizabeth's story grew into one of survival, friendship, and the special bond between Asher and her. They had both changed each other's lives in ways they could never have imagined, proving the power of patience and compassion. So, that's all for today. What are your thoughts about this story? Tell us in the comment section below, and if you like this, make sure to like and subscribe. Your support means so much to us. Until then, take care and thanks for watching.